This is potentially a pivotal moment for the Middle East, and there is something positive that can come out of it as well. I think most people didn't foresee the collapse would be this big, but the question is, why did that collapse happen? And it happened because in the end, believe it or not, people want to be free, they want to get economic opportunity, and they prefer to live in a world of religious tolerance, not religious extremism. And I think this is a really, really important lesson for the whole of the Middle East. Because, the world today works by connectivity. The more connected you are, the more open-minded you are. If you're educating your young people to be creative, if you're educating them that it doesn't matter what race or faith or nation you come from, look, let's see what we have in common. These are great things. And this is where the future of the Middle East is. Number one, I think it is very clear, at least under this American president, that Iran will not be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon. Number two, I think the last year has seen a weakening of Iranian proxies around the Middle East region. Whether Hamas or Hezbollah, the Houthis, there's been the fall of Assad in Syria and a new regime emerging there. Lebanon's got a real chance, I think, of a future now. So that is also a big change. I think, thirdly, we shouldn't ignore what also has been going on in the Middle East, which is a continuing effectively peaceful revolution in Saudi Arabia in terms of its economic and social development. The UAE and Qatar, the whole of that Middle East region, there is the emergence of what I would call modernizing strong forces. And finally, therefore, I think because the forces that have been, I think, against religious tolerance and against modernizing your economy, I think because those forces are weaker today, there is a real opportunity for the Middle East. But I do think it's going to be important to use that opportunity, particularly to bring about an end to the war in Gaza on a basis that protects Israel's security but offers hope for the Palestinians. So I think if you take a step back, I think you can articulate a situation in which, if you like, those people that believe in religious tolerance and open, connected economies have been strengthened. Those people opposed to those principles have been weakened, but we need to use that and use the new landscape in the Middle East to end the conflict that is still there and to give a greater chance of opportunity and hope for the people. I suspect there will be continued internal repression because the people of Iran also, by the way, I think a majority of them want to live in a religiously tolerant society, and also they're a very smart, capable people. Iran's an ancient civilization. Its people probably do want to be connected to the global economy. So we'll just have to see. But I think a lot will depend on not simply on how we deal with the problems of the Middle East, but how we access the opportunities that are there, given the new situation that's come about. No one could fully foresee the collapse of those proxies, but I think there's a very interesting lesson here, which is, I mean, it's pretty obvious that the Iranian regime was infiltrated at virtually every level, and that there were a lot of people who were working against them. And if you take Lebanon, for example, I mean, the role of Hezbollah in Lebanon over the years has been a baleful role. It's held the country back. And the Lebanese, again, I mean, you meet Lebanese people all over the world, particularly in the business community. They're really smart, capable people. They deserve something better. And we have to wait and see what happens in Syria. I mean, my institute has had discussions with the government there. And in Iraq, which you mentioned, yeah, they also want to be independent. They want to pursue, again, the enormous economic potential of the country. And that's why it's so important what's happening in those countries that are modernizing. You know, you do a poll in the Middle East, by the way, of young people across the whole of the Middle East and ask them, which country do you want your country to be most like? The answer is, I think virtually every year comes back the UAE. Yeah. So, you know, this is, and that's not a coincidence, by the way. It's because of the way the governance has been, and one of the reasons why, you know, my institute works in almost 50 countries across the world today. And one of the fascinating things is that everyone always thinks their situation is unique, and of course in a way it is. But whichever country you go to, most of all what people want is the opportunity to do well, right, if they work hard, to have peace and stability, to raise their family with some chance of a decent future. And that's the same wherever you go. And the key to it is good governance that is open-minded itself, that is effective in providing opportunity for people and is connected to the world.